This is your host, VIPPrimo, and this is Carside Chat. And today I want to talk to you about something I've been seeing from major publications in the supercar community. And you see, unlike all those other guys that sugarcoat everything and say, I love it, let's just follow the leader, I'm a little bit, shall we say, pragmatic. This whole thing came up when the Ferrari F80 was released. When the first pictures came up, everybody got excited. Well done, Ferrari. And we thought, hey, maybe things were going to be turning around. Then the video of it at Finale Mondiale in Imola surfaced. And let's just say some of the public wasn't feeling it. So let's be honest. A vehicle's performance isn't based on how it sounds. But when a car based on its Formula One racing history doesn't appear to, how do I say this, Formula One very much, critics emerge. And then they start saying things like the price is too high, or nobody likes the black line out front, and the car sounded about as loud as a cat running through the kitchen. Okay, well, obviously we have different kind of cats. The response from the big publications was, don't worry about it, that criticism will pass and all will be well with the world. And it's true. Most of the time, there are keyboard warriors who will go online and start complaining just to hear their heads rattle. They get a little attention, they disappear, and it would be easy to dismiss this as one of those cases. But let's be honest, it wasn't just online keyboard warriors. And if this publications can't see that, then they really don't hang out with the right people, or they're just straight up lying to you. These were buyers and real true enthusiasts. It was a straw on a camel's back. In literally every unveiling I've attended, I've heard people saying these brands are losing their way. And we're in a world that isn't building cars to their passion or to their buyers, but cars to appease regulations. So we're already diverting from what these brands represent. And it couldn't have been a worse time for Ferrari either, because they've just kicked Pininfarina to the curb so they could do everything in-house, and they were acing it with Atelier. Still, I think a lot of people are asking if they could do it. The 12 cylindry certainly looked like they were, but it had that new appearance. It had to overcome with buyers. And I think had things been equal, they would have weathered that storm just fine. But now they had to sell people on a hybrid as well, and things are beginning to build up. It's also why I suggest not sweeping these critics under the rug so quickly. Let's be honest, even if those critics are being, well, critical fans, they usually have a grain of truth to their criticism. But instead of listening to them, I see a constant push of sweeping the negatives under the rug. Why? Because they're being forced to make these changes that don't identify with the brand, changes that everyone say, we got to do this, so I hope you're on board. And unfortunately, the buyers aren't, and they're being ignored. To add insult to injury, the brands can't say we're being forced to do this, so here's an offering we know doesn't work with our brand, but hey, take it or leave it. And that'll be $3 million for that price tag. They have to say this is the best car they've ever made, even if it isn't. Maybe it's a little heavier, but performance-wise, they use a smaller motor with higher RPMs. Some get up and go with those electric parts. And there's your takeoff. And great, it's a vehicle we really love. But with all the things stacked on top of it, a lot of people aren't going to get on board with one thing if they have all these other things that are being pushed to the side to get them to think that way. You may even be thinking we only care about the car buyers and they'll be in regardless. But even your fans buy t-shirts and collectibles that'll probably make more money than the cars ever will. And I also know that everyone says Ferrari doesn't care, but if they didn't, they just build a sedan. They'd put a ton of cars out and call it a day. But they won't. And the reason is because it doesn't identify with the brand. The reality is we like the cut of their jib. We like that they don't tolerate someone messing with their logo. And if they stopped, we'd ask what's wrong. Imagine if Harley Davidson announced they were building a quiet electric motorcycle and they thought you'd love it because it's all about the tech, Harley guys would lose their minds. People would ask who's running the company. Thankfully, we aren't there yet, but who says it isn't coming? So if people question why Ferraris are the way they are, maybe we should be paying attention to what they actually are. Maybe we should think this is the first warning shot in a barrage of problems to come. And instead of just rolling over, maybe put up a little bit of a fight. Trust me, your buyers would appreciate that. And then they'd be a little bit more apt to think, hey, it's hybrid because the brand wants to expand or maybe try something new. And if you ask me, I want every brand to have a hybrid option, a dual clutch option, an electrically controlled manual transmission option. But I also want a naturally aspirated V12 that sounds so good that it makes angels jealous. It wouldn't hurt to have a manual transmission that feels like you need to be Hulk Hogan to engage it. That's what supercars have always been about. Most importantly, I want my supercar brands to be just that, still in business. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Pick up your shirt before you go. We're going to go on, get ourselves lined up for our next video. I hope you like the content that we have. And until the next time we see you, Excelsior.